Can you name all 47 presidents of the United States in chronological order? Stick around to see how many you can get right and learn some surprising achievements along the way. Welcome to Fun Facts Bowl. In this video, we'll summarize all U.S. presidents and their most important achievements, all in under 8 minutes. George Washington, the first president and a founding father, known for leading the nation through its infancy and establishing the precedent of a peaceful transfer of power. John Adams, built the U.S. Navy and maintained peace during the XYZ affair. He also strengthened the young federal government. Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence and orchestrated the Louisiana Purchase, doubling the U.S. territory. He commissioned the Lewis and Clark expedition. James Madison, he is the father of U.S. Constitution and led the nation through the War of 1812. James Monroe, known for the Monroe Doctrine, asserting U.S. opposition to European interference in the Americas. John Quincy Adams, advocated for infrastructure projects and was a key figure in foreign policy, especially the Adams-Onis Treaty. Andrew Jackson, a populist leader who expanded presidential power but controversial for the Trail of Tears, a forced displacement of Native Americans. He eliminated the national debt, marking the only time in U.S. history that the country was completely debt-free. Martin Van Buren founded the Democratic Party and upheld neutrality during Canadian border disputes. He oversaw the Panic of 1837, a major economic downturn. William Henry Harrison. He gave the longest inaugural address and became the first president to die in office. He died after 31 days in office, making him the shortest-serving president. John Tyler. He annexed Texas and stabilized foreign relations with Britain and China. James K. Polk expanded U.S. territory through the Mexican-American War and established the Oregon Treaty. Zachary Taylor, a war hero who opposed the expansion of slavery and advocated for statehood of California. He died in office after 16 months. Millard Fillmore signed the Compromise of 1850 and expanded trade with Japan through the Perry Expedition. Franklin Pierce supported the controversial Kansas-Nebraska Act, worsening divisions over slavery. He signed the Gadsden Purchase, which bought parts of Mexico, later became part of Arizona and New Mexico. James Buchanan supported the Dred Scott decision and managed tensions leading up to the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln preserved the Union during the Civil War and issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Andrew Johnson oversaw early Reconstruction and purchased Alaska from Russia. He also faced impeachment over clashes with Congress during Reconstruction. Ulysses S. Grant, a Civil War hero who worked to rebuild the South but faced scandals in his administration. He led Reconstruction efforts and dismantled the Ku Klux Klan. Rutherford B. Hayes ended Reconstruction and restored federal troops from the South, and he also modernized the U.S. military. James A. Garfield reformed civil service and advocated for education. He was assassinated after just 6 months in office. Chester A. Arthur modernized the Navy and supported civil service reform through the Pendleton Act. Grover Cleveland. Cleveland was known as the veto president, issuing over 400 vetoes and supported economic reform. Benjamin Harrison signed the Sherman Antitrust Act to combat monopolies and anti-competitive practices. He expanded and modernized U.S. naval power. Grover Cleveland, first president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. He fought against corruption and repealed the Sherman Silver Purchase Act. William McKinley won the Spanish-American War and established the Gold Standard Act. Theodore Roosevelt built the Panama Canal and championed conservation with national parks. William Howard Taft broke up monopolies and later served as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Woodrow Wilson led the U.S. through World War I and established the Federal Reserve. Warren G. Harding signed the first Federal Highway Act and promoted naval disarmament, but his administration faced major scandals. Calvin Coolidge. Reduced taxes and supported economic growth in the Roaring Twenties. Herbert Hoover built the Hoover Dam and expanded public works projects during the Great Depression. Franklin D. Roosevelt led the U.S. through the Great Depression and World War II with the New Deal. Harry S. Truman ended World War II by authorizing the use of atomic bombs and launched the Marshall Plan and created NATO. Dwight D. Eisenhower created the interstate highway system and enforced school desegregation. John F. Kennedy led the Cuban Missile Crisis resolution and launched the space race. Lyndon B. Johnson pushed civil rights legislation and escalated the Vietnam War. Richard Nixon opened China-U.S. relations and created the Environmental Protection Agency. He resigned over Watergate scandal. Gerald Ford restored stability post-Watergate scandal and pardoned Nixon. He signed the Helsinki Accords, an effort to reduce tension between the Soviet Union and Western blocs. Jimmy Carter brokered peace in the Middle East with the Camp David Accords. He created the Department of Energy. Ronald Reagan ended the Cold War and revitalized the U.S. economy with tax reforms. George H.W. Bush won the Gulf War and signed the Americans with Disabilities Act. Bill Clinton oversaw economic prosperity and signed a trade agreement, NAFTA. However, he faced impeachment for perjury and obstruction of justice. George W. Bush responded to September 11th and launched wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. He created the Department of Homeland Security. Barack Obama signed the Affordable Care Act and captured notorious terrorist Osama bin Laden. Donald Trump focused on America First policies and reshaped the judiciary. He also advocated for stricter immigration policies. Joe Biden advocated for pandemic recovery and signed landmark climate and infrastructure laws. As you know, Donald Trump has been elected as the 47th president following the 2024 presidential elections. He is scheduled to be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States on January 20th, 2025. Let us know in the comments which president or achievement surprised you the most. Whether you could name all 46 presidents or learn something new today, we hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into history, politics, and beyond. Thanks for joining us on this journey through American history. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.